Doesn't look like anyone's home. Here, look at this.
These tapes only affect you if you play it at a correct sequence.
So, as you can guess, my morbid curiosity got the better of me, and I suffered through VHS 2. It sounds like a failed attempt at doing a sequel to that format. VHS 2. More VHS than VHS 1. Now running at 480p resolution, 2 times more than VHS 1, with ultra clear sound and the best picture around. Pay no attention to DVD. VHS 2, the future of home cinema. I need to stop now. But yeah, so after watching the first VHS 1, it's like, yeah, I didn't really enjoy this. It's not my cup of tea. And yet, I still watched the second one, son of a bitch. And so, yeah, I'm going to go through my time watching VHS 2. Because my morbid curiosity got the better of me and doomed me again. I will admit, though, that this one did have some aspects that were better than VHS 1, and did have some aspects that were worse than VHS 1. So, yeah. And also, this is going to be very spoilery review, so if you want to go into VHS 2 fresh, do so now, because I'm going to be talking about all of it in depth. And so, yeah, let's begin. So, this time around, I was hoping that maybe the creators kind of grew up, they kind of matured a bit. It's like, hey, maybe we don't need to do so much graphic nudity and sex. It's son of a bitch! Yeah, so they do that shit again. And the movie starts off with tape 49, which is the frame narrative that connects all these videos together, kind of like the previous film. And this time around, we're following apparently a peeping Tom, and like it's just really this is how we're starting it off, okay? But then, to my surprise, I find out that this guy's actually a private investigator with his girlfriend. They are private investigators. They are hired to get video evidence that this guy was cheating on his wife, or this wife was cheating on her husband. I can't really remember, but he technically wasn't doing the peeping Tom thing. He was collecting evidence. So it's like, okay, automatically, straight off the bat, I don't want to kill these people. I don't want to see these two people die. They are private investigators. A far cry from the evil bastards from the frame narrative of the first one. And of course, there is a little nice hat tip to the first one where they're popping in, they see one of their criminal videos real quick. It's like, what the hell is this? And so they go to this house. You know, we were hired to find something in this house. Yeah. I don't really care about the frame narrative because it does overall suck. Admittedly, I don't want to see these two people die. They don't strike me as... But come on. This is one of the biggest issues with this film, is that every single person dies in this thing. There is no one who makes it, no one who survives. And I know some of you are thinking, come on, it's a horror movie. Of course no one's going to survive. Or it's, you know, like a found footage movie. Of course no one's going to survive. Here's the thing. When you're doing a series like VHS, and every single fucking story ends badly, it makes none of them interesting. It makes them all like, oh, I can kind of see how this one's going to end, see how every single one ends bad. Alright? It makes no sense. I mean, you would think, hey, every now and then you might surprise the audience, like, oh, this individual made it out alright, which means the next one I have no idea if it's going to end badly or if they're going to make it alright. But when you have every single story end badly by 2 films at this point, it's like, yeah, it's going to end badly this time, okay. Going to end badly this time, okay. Going to end badly this time, okay. Like, no, it ends badly again for the 30th time. And so it's just like, yeah, this is getting really, really, really freaking old really fast. Having every single story element or every single story segment end really badly for the character that the story is focused on. And this is like the reason why I stopped watching Outer Limits, because it always ended badly for the main character. It was kind of surprised in that show when it actually ended in a good way for the main character of that episode. It's like, oh, wow, he's not getting fucked over? Wow, that is surprising. Last 30 episodes, the main character always gets fucked, and this time he doesn't get fucked. That is surprising as hell. So, yeah, I'm getting real strong. Character always gets fucked in the series with every story. But let's continue on with Phase 1 clinical trials. Now, this one was the most fascinating out of all the stories in VHS 2, because this one had the most potential. This one really had a lot of possibilities with it. And of course, this was directed by Adam Wingard. If you recognize that name, he worked on the first VHS, he worked on the Blair Witch remake, he did Godzilla vs. Kong, he did the incredible movie The Guest, and so he has some good hits under his belt, he has some bad hits under his belt, done a lot of found footage movies, and so he did this one. And basically the story follows this guy. He lost his eye in a car wreck, and he gets this new bionic eye. And the hospital says, yeah, so basically we're going to be recording everything you see, and you might see some unusual things, but that's just normal. It's just some, growing pains and whatnot. And of course, as he's leaving, he sees this one person looking at him very oddly, and he's like, okay, nothing much to it. And he goes home, and honestly, what the fuck does this guy do for a living? Like, I swear, this guy is a international drug dealer. The house he goes to is the nicest fucking mansion I have seen in a movie. Like, holy shit, this guy, they never say what this guy does, but he must sell drugs, because, I mean, damn. And then another weird thing is he goes home and immediately starts playing video games. It's like, you couldn't see before this point, so why you have so many video games? And then it's like, well, he has one eye. Okay, one eye, fine. Okay. But it just seemed kind of odd. They were acting like this guy hasn't seen for a while, but he actually could see out of one eye. They don't elaborate on his current living situation, basically. That's what's going on. And, like, honestly, where the fuck did he find the money to afford this place? I'd like to know. But anyway, so he starts seeing weird-ass shit, like a little girl, a guy just staring at him. I mean, just weird-ass shit aplenty. And it's like, okay, I'm getting kind of like the Eye vibe. The Eye was like this Japanese movie that got an American remake with Jessica Alba, and I saw both of them. I don't know why I watched both of them, but basically it's about this blind woman who gets an eye transplant, and she can finally start seeing again, but she's starting to see ghosts. And basically the eye transplant was from this woman who had an unjustified death, and now she has to like redeem let this help the spirit of the ghost of the eye she has rest. It's kind of a boring movie, honestly. I was getting kind of strong vibes with that, but then the story gets kind of interesting. but then sucks really bad for a second. This woman he saw at the hospital earlier, she comes in and she says, yeah, so I got an ear implant to help me, hear stuff. And I started hearing weird shit. And basically, we're seeing stuff and hearing stuff that we're not supposed to be seeing. And just as, like, I'm starting to wrap my head around it, it's like, oh, okay, so this is kind of interesting. There's an unnecessary sex scene that happens. And it's just, like, so out of left field. It just makes no sense. It's just like, whoa, what? Like, seriously, it's just out of left field. More so than anything the first movie did. And then finally, when they get back to it, the story, it's like, yeah, so basically, that implant you have is letting you see shit in, like, another dimension that you normally wouldn't have been able to see. And I can hear stuff, and because we can see and hear stuff, that other dimension can now interact with us. And, like, the potential here for this story was so immense. There was so much possibilities. Like, give me this premise, I can make a really fun, awesome, entertaining story. And they kind of squander the story because it's like, once it starts getting interesting, then the guy, he decides to tear out his own eye. And after he does it, the ghosts still kill him for some reason. And, like, there's nothing to explain why the ghosts want to kill him. There's nothing to explain why they're after this guy. I mean, you had potential here with this story, and you squander it. And, like, that's how the story ends. Oh, no, the story ends with the guy getting his eye force-fed down his throat, which is stupid. Like, honestly, they do stupid shit in this movie. All of the stories where it's like, what? Why? You never explained that? You never established that this was something that was going to happen? And, like, why would the ghost force feed the guy his own eye that he just cut out? Like, it makes no fucking sense. I don't get it. And so the ending felt quick and cheap. And then the next one is Ryan the Park. And this one was, like, the least pissing me off, as it were, because it's a guy riding a bike through the woods, and then bam, he gets hit by zombies, and he dies, turns into a zombie, and he has a GoPro on his helmet, and so now you get to see everything from the perspective of a zombie. And it's like, okay, fun gimmick, alright, I won't say you can run an entire movie on this, but it's a fun gimmick, I will give you that. What I won't give you is that when the little kid's birthday party gets hit, all the adults would have gone into full Rambo mode, okay? Like, there are certain parents, they will be completely docile, but the moment they see some crazy shit like a zombie going after the kids, that's when the bandana goes on and the combat knife comes out and, the mud covering comes out. I mean, like, there are certain parents out there, they will go fucking native in a second to save their child. And it's like, I was hoping to see that happen at some point, but, like, all these adults are pansy-ass pussies, okay? So, like, I was kind of hoping to see one of these adults, like, just go full-out Rambo on these zombies. And as the thing's going on, you see people dial 911, and they're actually getting the police, which tells me that this, like, park is ground zero. Which is kind of interesting, but they never explain why this park is ground zero. So, somebody answers questions there. And then, as the story ends, this zombie decides to take his own life because he's seen the monster he's become. It's like, wait a minute. At no point did you establish that zombies could do this in this story. Remember earlier I was talking about they don't establish certain story elements. They don't build up to certain story elements. This is another example right here. It's like, oh, the zombie automatically feels bad and he's going to take his own life. It's like, wait, whoa. When was this established that this was a thing? Like, seriously. You never established this. It's just like, you didn't know how to end this, did you? Yeah, you didn't know how to fucking end this story, did you? I should have known. Now, the next story is one called Safe Haven. And I was kind of intrigued by this because, one, it's co-directed by Garth Evans, who did the awesome Raid Redemption and the Raid 2. And, like, the guy knows how to film a really great set piece. So, I was kind of intrigued by this. And, like, the setup has potential. Because, one, it takes place in, like, Indonesia. There's, like, absolutely, like, no English speaking that I know of that happens in this. There might be a couple moments someone speaks English, but it's almost entirely subtitled. And basically, it's about this Indonesian, like, film crew that scores an interview with a Indonesian cult out that lives out in the middle of nowhere, and they're talking with one of the guys who is like, hey, could we, like, actually get in on your compound and, like, interview you guys, show the world your perspective? And so they get a yes, and so they head out in the middle of nowhere. They make a point to point out that, like, yeah, this is really far out in the middle of nowhere, so no chance of any help coming. And they get there, they start setting up, like, their hidden cameras and their actual cameras and whatnot. Honestly, it's like, why they need hidden cameras if they were cool to bring a camera? It was just a means of getting a camera on people so that they're not always holding it in terms of a narrative reason. And, like, there's a point where a guy sets up a GoPro in the back of his car and then leaves it there. It's like, why would you set up a GoPro there? And then later on, there's a scene where it's showing him looking at something, and it's like, oh, okay. So, I mean, there was literally, when you think about it, it bugs me that he would set up a GoPro for the back of his car, which is going to have nothing filming. Like, the only reason was for the audience. It wasn't for, in terms of the story. And it really tore me out of this experience. But so, they go in, they get greeted by the head guy's, one of his numerous wives, and a little girl's there, and the people go, oh, how are you doing, little girl? And then, I shit you not, the little girl goes, I'm not a little girl anymore, father saw to that. It's just like, what did she just say? Like, at this point, I would have been tempted to start going flamethrower on this shit. Okay? I mean, it's like, did I just hear that little girl say what I thought she said? But everyone's acting all like, oh, nothing creepy about that at all. Let's go in. And then the one woman in their film crew, they give her this Blair Witch Project stick figure necklace. That is the only way to describe this, like, little stick figure thing. And it's like, yes, please, put this on. And it's just like, that is red flag number 2. Like, seriously, you go ahead. Like, honestly, if I was one of the guys in that film group, it was just like, okay, Jenny, get the fuck out of here right now, okay? We do not need you here. No, Jenny, I don't care if your name isn't Jenny. Get the fuck out of here right now. But no, they go on ahead. And so, you know, they're looking all over the place. Everyone's wearing white clothing. And it's all very creepy. And it's like, yes, this is the children's school hall. Yes, everyone's acting perfectly strange. And so they start doing the interview with the head guy, and the battery runs out. Guy has to go get another battery, and when he does this, he starts hearing a conversation happening with his friend and this one woman that he's in a relationship with, that she's pregnant, not with his kid, but with his best friend's kid. She's like 2 months pregnant. And he's like, you know, losing his shit because he just found out his girlfriend is cheating on his best friend. So, while this is happening, the cameraman, he's just awkwardly sitting there like, so, seen any good movies lately? And the one guy, he's just sitting there staring at him. And then, like, he gets a phone call or an alarm goes off. And it's just like, it is time for the calling. And he's just like, whoa, what? What? And the guy starts talking on the megaphone, like, come rejoice, brothers and sisters, our time has come. And the guy's asking, like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, do not interrupt me. And he continues on with his big speech. Guy doesn't get the hint. He's like, excuse me, what's going on? And he's like, I told you not to interrupt me! And he brutally murders the cameraman. So, shit clicks off immediately. Okay? And there's this huge siren going off. And of course then, they do the cliche Jim Jones, you know, like, let's drink the Kool-Aid thing, which kind of is shitty writing, I have to say. And like, before or while this happens, the friend Adam, he's looking for the girlfriend slash baby mama of his kid. He goes down the basement and he finds the most fucked up shit you're going to see in this movie, if not any movie. And basically a botched C-section of them trying to cut a kid out of this woman. And it's like, okay, this is red flag number 3. We are getting the fuck out of here now. I would have said red flag number 3 was the father killing the cameraman, but no one was there to see that. Okay? But this guy finds a fucked, botched C-section of a woman, and it's just like, yep, nope, we are getting the fuck out of here now. And of course the alarms are going off and the woman wakes up and begins screaming. So yeah, that shit happens. And then, like, all hell breaks loose, okay? You got people committing mass suicide. You have a room full of guys all armed with a pistol, and they all just decide to blow their brains out at the same time in sync. Actually kind of impressed how in sync they were. But at that point, the guy who sees this, does he pick up any of the guns? Fuck no, he just starts running. And it's like, yep, if I see shit like that, I am fucking picking up every single gun, because there is no way I am trusting any of these fucking psychos. And of course, these fucking psychos, they start, like, grabbing onto them. They kill one guy successfully, and they kidnap the woman that's 2 months pregnant, mind you. Alright? They want her for some reason, even though she's never been part of this cult, she's never been to a single meeting. It's like they've chosen her to be the vessel for something, even though she's never been there before, she's never been with anyone in that group. I mean, literally, there's like nothing setting up why they want her so bad, but they want her, they kidnap her. One of the guys goes after her, and then she starts getting super pregnant, which, keep in mind, she's never been here before. She hasn't drank anything. There's literally no reason why she is the chosen one for this vessel. Alright, and basically she starts having the Antichrist, I guess. And it's like, nothing insinuated that this was even a possibility. I mean, maybe if earlier it's like, oh yeah, I used to go here all the time when I was younger. It's like, okay, good hint towards that. Or it's like, yeah, the father character just, you know, did something with me that was kind of horrific. Nothing like that. And it's not like, oh yeah, we chose her. Or like, if they had found a room where it's just covered photos of her, it's like, oh shit, they've been following you for quite a while. Like, that would have been something. But no, it's just, oh, random person walks in and yeah, you're 2 months pregnant, perfect, that's all we need. It's like, it makes no sense. And this guy, he starts watching this thing tear out of her, and it's like, does he kill it? Nope, he just runs. It's like, I would have been tempted to, you know, start hacking away at it as it was coming out. But no, this guy just runs. And then apparently everyone's turning to zombies now. They did not establish this. It's like, oh, so the crazed lunatics are now zombies. And his best friend's zombies. Probably would have been smart to pick up a couple of those guns earlier. But no, didn't do that. And he gets in his car and speeds away. And of course the demon type goat thing catches up, knocks him off the road. And he has basically, his mind snaps as the thing appears over him. And I guess at one point it calls him Dada, which is weird. And that's how it ends. It's just like, what? Seriously? That's what you guys went with. Fine. Fuck you. And then the last official story before the frame narrative finishes is the Slumber Party alien abduction. And like this one, I was really hopeful for, because it's like, okay, gray aliens. We've never seen like a full movie where a tall, creepy looking gray alien has been the main focal point. It's always been cute short little aliens, or if you have seen the tall lanky gray alien, it's only been like quick scene like the X-Files or something like that. So I was kind of hopeful to see an entire segment of like a tall gray alien, and instead we get something that just completely sucks ass. And this could have been the coolest video of the entire thing. It easily could have. But instead, it felt like an amateur made this video. So, one, the problem is there were way too many fucking players in this short. So, case in point, sister comes driving up with a shit ton of friends, okay? I mean, I see like 3 guys get out, sister come out. It's like, okay, 3 guys and a girl. And they go down to the dock on the lake behind their house to go swimming. And when the kids decide to pull a prank on them, I see a bunch of women and 1 guy. It's just like, wait a minute, I thought it was 3 guys and a girl. Now it's like 4 girls and a guy. So what happened? And then like the kid has like 27 friends with him. Like, it is chaotic how many players are introduced into the story. And the kid decides to have a sleepover, but like his friend decides to jack off to like an adult film, and this older sister and her like high school jock friend, they decide to film him to get revenge on him for other bits earlier. And like, okay, and like I have no idea how many kids are in this sleepover. And like, it is so fucking confusing how many people are involved in this situation, because you got the older sister and her friend crowd, and then you got the younger brother and his friend crowd. And like one point, I think there's like 39 people in this house. Okay. But then they hear this huge wah type sound coming from outside. It just stops everything. It's just like, what? Like, what was that? And of course, the older sister, she decided to put a camera on the dog. And this is how we see the entire rest of the short, is from the perspective of the dog. This is just, yeah, I really wanted to get the entire fucking short from the perspective of the dog. Alright? And of course, the entire bottom half of the screen is covered in dog fur. So the only thing you can see is the top half, because the entire bottom half is covered in dog fur. Does that not seem like a fun way to see a horror short? Yeah, no, it doesn't. This is the shit an amateur does. So yeah, the entire fucking thing is like this, where you can only see the top half. And yeah, you see aliens, they're creepy looking, but because half the screen is obscured by dog fur, I can't really fucking enjoy it. And like, because there were so many players involved, I have no idea when someone gets taken. Everyone's running. They are doing shaky cam like fucking crazy. And eventually, they all get abducted. And to the point, even the dog gets killed. Alright? Because the kid gets sucked up. He lets go of the dog as he's getting sucked up to the mothership. And then the dog falls to its death. And of course, you get a close-up of the dog's face as it's gasping for air. So, like, you fucking killed the dog. Okay, you wouldn't even let the dog get away, right? It's not like the dog can tell anyone. But no, the dog gets away. The dog dies a very horrible, crushing death. And the only good aspect of this short was that the aliens kind of looked good, but we don't get to fucking see them because most of the screen is obscured by dog fur! And then the final epilogue of the frame narrative, tape 49, happens, where the guy, he found his girlfriend dead, saw a tape, said, watch me. He watched the alien abduction tape. And then she just comes back to life as a zombie, so nothing establishing that anything in that house would make her a zombie. He fights her off, goes, hides in a closet, and then the guy who used to live there, who committed suicide, he's a reanimated corpse. And he strangles him to death, and then he gives a thumbs up to the camera, and that's it. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? That's how you end the movie. You didn't even set any of that up. It's just, let's have a zombie, and let's have this guy throw a thumbs up to the camera for no fucking reason at all. And it's just like, this is easily more hated than VHS 1. I easily hate this more than VHS 1 because you had potential with some of the stories. But I mean, at least with VHS 1, like, I was really connected to the poor bastard during the Siren story. And I felt for the guys who were in the Halloween Haunted House story. Alright, I actually felt for this video. I did not care for any of these characters because they all did stupid decisions and they all were poorly written. It's like, yeah, I don't care for any of these people. I hate everyone in this except for the two private investigators. And even then, it's like, why? Why did you do this story? And so it's like, yeah, I can't recommend this movie. The last one, there was a couple of story elements that was kind of fun. But no, this one, it's like you just made up crazy random shit for every story. And you didn't elaborate on anything. And so, yeah, no, this was really disappointing. I could not stand this my entire time. And so, yeah, I'm never going to watch this again. There's absolutely no reason to watch this again. The first one, you know, I could see myself watching again, even though I wasn't nuts about the first one. I gave it a pretty low score. This one's even lower, because they squandered the potential here. And so, yeah, that was my time, my morbid curiosity of VHS 2, and probably I'm going to do the next VHS as well, because my morbid curiosity is not quenched yet. But yeah, so that was my time watching VHS 2. Honestly, you could avoid this one. I did not like it. I had no fun with this. And yeah, that's about it. My name's Christopher Carl with 11 Hour Reviews, and that is thankfully all.